Alright, so we've had kind of some setbacks, and we're not going to hit our timeline, not even close. But thank you for coming back and watching this video. Got a lot of work done. It's been a while though. Sorry for the lack of updates. I got some stuff going on. But so we got our very first room done, except flooring. But we got our walls retextured, painted. We've got all of our new trim built. We got our window seals built. We got our access panel in. We got our 5 3/4 inch baseboards in, made. We got a video on how we made them. We carried that style all the way through, and we're able to kind of get everything done. But in this video, I'll be showing you all how to texture walls and kind of how to redo the whole room. Like retexturing a wall, it's easy, it's cheap, doesn't take but 3 tools to do it, and it makes the entire room look brand new. I started with this room because it was the worst room. I mean, by far. Whoever lived in this room hated this room. They've got stuff all over the walls. We picked 100 nails out of the walls. We picked slime, gross. We don't even know what was in this room, other than the fact that they were pretty horrible people because they sold multi-level marketing. Sensi. No bueno. So their friends probably didn't like them either. But we got this room. I'm gonna do a walk around. This is kind of the intro, like, hey everybody. But I'm gonna do a walkthrough of this room, and then I'm gonna show you that room and what we got going on. Sorry for the echo. I don't have a floor in here, so it's all like wow, wow, wow. But yeah, I'll show you what I got going on, and hopefully we can teach you some stuff. Okay, so this is our window seals. We did that little bit of chamfer edge on everything. We got all the windows wrapped. We got our cool little Craftsman style header. I'll do a video on how I built them. I built them in 8-foot sections and I just kind of cut them down. They're real easy. Wrapped our closet doors, get them a little pop. I got tools all over, so y'all aren't gonna see my cool floor. That's our access panel, all done. That's our other window. We got our door. We did a video on that. That had 10 holes in it when we started. And it looks brand new now. We got some new hardware on it. Kind of give it a little bit of zing, make it not look so bad. But we're renting at these rooms by the room, so I'll put a keyed lock on it. We're gonna walk on through here, show you the room we're working on. The room I'm gonna teach y'all how to texture on. You may know, you may not. That's fine. If you already know how to do it, don't watch it. This is the brown room. It's very brown, it's very ugly, but drywall's in perfect shape. It just has no texture on it. Whatever texture was on it was just from rolling it with a heavy nap roller. So you see every little imperfection. I got to get some slime off the walls. I got construction bags over my windows. I got all the trim and everything demoed out yet last night. So I got my tack strip up, and I forgot a board. Oh well, don't mind that. But I got my tack strip up. I got everything but that one board I just noticed. What I'm doing is I'm going to take that light down. I'm going to shoot this video first, take that light down, at least get that bulb off so I can get everything cleaned up. I'm going to spray this room with Kills. First, I'm going to wash the walls. I'm going to spray everything with Kills, let that set up, and I'm going to hit it with a nice light knockdown. I'll show y'all how to do the knockdown. Probably going to get to that today, so this video is going to be in several parts. But yeah, nice brown room. People have wonderful taste. That's what happens when you sell multi-level marketing. You have bad taste. But yeah, that's so, this is kind of what we're gonna go for. That Craftsman style, easy trim to run, everything nice, easy, big baseboards. We're gonna do some LVP on the floor, some luxury vinyl plank, but I'm not gonna do that until I get both rooms and the hallway done. So I can mix my boxes up, kind of make everything look a little bit more flowy. But, yep. Got everything done. All right, when we pick this video back up, it'll be when I'm ready to spray everything. Thank you. Hey. All right, so I got the room pretty well set up and everything. I got it all Kills. I went ahead and sprayed everything out with Kills. My sprayer, Wagner 3000, it broke. Started spraying out paint everywhere and stuff like that. And I'm like the number 4 video for that now. Oh, maybe I got a lemon. I don't know. I don't much care for it. I'm just going to roll from here on out. But until I decide to stop being mad about it. But so I got my wall prep done. I got any big holes filled. I went ahead and pulled that baseboard piece that I forgot. Kind of anything I didn't think the texture would cover up. You know, a big part of the reason you want to retexture a room is, one, if you just want to give it a full makeover, because a good texture hides a multitude of sins, and that's kind of what this room needed. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I mix everything, kind of like how I do it. This is for a light knockdown. It looks really good. It doesn't look like this heavy, thick knockdown. I don't really, though that's if you got some major problems, or if you just like that style. But I've always used it to like cover up bad, you know, bad drywall finishing or whatever. But yeah, so we're prepped, we're ready. I'm getting ready to start mixing up some mud, and I'll show you kind of like how I mix it, and we'll do some tests and some samples, and I'll kind of show you everything, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so a lot of different opinions and a lot of explanations of how you mix up your mud. One thing first, I do most of my work by myself, so I use bucket mud. I don't use 45 minute, I don't use 90 minute. That dries too fast for me to come and knock it down. It kicks really soon. If you use bucket mud, you can texture the entire room, go eat a sandwich, and then go knock it down. But so everybody says that I've seen, I don't mean to generalize, but a lot of people from what I've seen, they say mix it up like pancake batter. Everybody makes pancake batter differently. So, like, well, how can I describe it? So the best way for me to tell, and this is the way I tell, is if you mix it up like that, if you just stir it, it doesn't maintain the shape. It goes back to flat. Now, you don't want it so soupy to where it's going to run down the wall. It will hold a stick, but just barely. But the way I tell is I do a little bit of squiggling in it, mix it up real good, and you'll see it returns back to level for the most part. Okay? Now, when you are determining what kind of knockdown you want to do, there's a scale, okay? Now, I make my material a little watery, and on top of that, I apply a relatively high pressure. I think I'm right at 75 PSI. That's for a light knockdown. That'll do a light knockdown. If you want a heavier knockdown, then you can reduce the pressure and thicken your material. If you want a really heavy knockdown, then you can use bucket mud, a little bit of water, to where when you kick the bucket, it'll actually show movement. If you go knock on the top, if you go tap on the side of the bucket, you'll be able to see a little bit of a ripple. Okay? And you lower your pressure down. Now you're gonna have to mess with that. I mean, there's nobody that's gonna be able to tell you an exact science. Maybe there is, but I'm not gonna break out 10 boards and show you each different pressure. I'm not gonna mix a bunch of material up. You're gonna have to find what works for you. And I've said this before in other videos, no one can teach you how to do this stuff. The only thing we can act is a basic guideline, because experience is what teaches you this. Because things are gonna go wrong, and going wrong is where you learn everything. But the way I do it is I've mixed 2 of these. So I've basically mixed in 2 liters of water in 2.5 gallons. That, because I just a 5-gallon bucket, it's about half full. And that, actually, it's about 2 gallons, okay? Because it's a little under. So maybe 1 liter per gallon is what I used as a pretty good metric for me. And that's using bucket mud, which already has a pretty good moisture content. You know, so of course, if you're gonna use 90-minute mud, if you're faster than I am, then that'll help you. But yeah, stir it up. If it settles pretty flat, like this is, if I walk away, come back 30 seconds later, this will be good and flat. And you move the bucket, you get some movement, and it can hold a stick. All right, thank you. All right, so I got 1 wall left, and I've kind of got everything. And I actually had to thin my material out a little bit because I'm using a little 6-gallon Porter cable. I mean, it's not the best for it, but it works. It works. You just got to go slow. You know, do half a wall, wait, do half a wall, wait. But I'm laying down pretty even material, and the problem is it's white on white, so the camera's having a really hard time picking it up. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to fast forward this part, but I always try to keep it moving. Of course, it's like anything else, like you don't want to puddle it. I've got a repair that I'm going to show you all, because if you texture for your first or second or third or fourth time, you're going to make mistakes, but they're easy to fix while everything's still wet. You scrape it, you wait, you knock down around it, and then you spray it again. But you leave that section alone once you scrape it. You scrape it, you get all that material off, you wait, you knock down the rest of the wall. You wait, you let it all get, and you go back and you spray it. It's not bad, it's easy. But yeah, I'm gonna fast forward this part because I'm sure you don't want to hear my air compressor running. But yeah, we'll take a look. So when you're wanting to knock down the wall, so now you've got it sprayed and you're over that part. The next part is trying to figure out when to knock it down. Depending on your mud, depending on the temperature of your house, depending on how thick or how thin, everything's a factor. Like, I sprayed the wall that's back there first, but it's not done yet. This is the wall I sprayed last, but it is done. That's because that was one batch of material and this was another batch of material that I mixed up. And I've already knocked down my closets, and I've got some spots that I don't like. I've got most of it I do, you know. So the whole point of trying to do this yourself is not to make it look like you did it. It's to make it look like you can make it look as good or as bad as you want it to. The great part about all this is it's sandable and it scrapes off. It's easy. You can do it how many times you want to. But so for right now, the way I can kind of tell is the shine of it. Most of the shine will go away. Meaning, like right now, it still looks very, I'm sure on camera it looks very wet, but it's not. Only the bigger lumps are. All of the smaller stuff, that's already almost dried to the touch. And I don't have to force hard. All I have to, I've got a 24-inch blade, and I'm going to drag it this way, and then I'm going to drag it this way. And I start here, And I'm just letting the weight of the blade do it. And the thing is I'm looking at it. And I'm making my decision as I go. That looks good. I don't have any drag marks. I'm sure you can't see it because it's white on the camera. But it's working out pretty well. I got a little bit of a heavy spot here. So I'm probably, well, let's see if I can drag it lightly. Yep, I was able to. And then because no wall in these old houses are perfect, I drag it each way. Now if I start to get blade marks, I switch to a smaller blade because you can have some curve and some bow in these walls. And you know, you won't spot it until you've got blade marks. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. Well, I'm gonna come back to this spot because it's wet. Now, I just put a blade mark in this. But I'm not carrying much material on this, so I'm just going to keep on going, and I'm going to come back for that. Straight lines are easy to see with your eye. Put some curve on your blade if you can. Do a C. The eyes are attracted to straight lines. Try to remove them. So your eyes are attracted to straight lines. So, one thing I like to do, if I'm starting to get a little bit of bubble wall, is I start working my trial in a C. What that's doing is reducing the possibility of those straight line drag lines showing up in your work. Now I just got a little bit of a skip right there because I went too fast. So I will come back. I will get rid of my skips. So I guess that would be slow down then. I'm not pressing hard, I'm just letting the blade do the work. Okay, so I've got a drag mark here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my finger, I'm just going to paint a little bit. I'm going to drag it again. But I'm only going to drag it a hair. That kind of fixed her up. I'll load some of my mud here in the corner. Okie dokie. got some bow in this wall. Now, on this wall, I dragged down, there must be a bow in it, because as soon as I drug down, I started getting corner marks. So, just switched it this way, and that keeps any of them lines out, and I'm able to pretty much get the knockdown I'm wanting. Alright, I'm sure none of you want to see me do this for the next 20 minutes, so we'll cut back when I got something else to show you. Okie dokie. So, it's all dry. It's the next day. And I wasn't worried so much about putting it on the left or the right, because I got some big trim that's going to cover it. But I've got a good texture laid down on the wall. All of the blemishes from the previous owners are hid. It's going to look really good when it's painted. And I don't know how much I've really shown. I'm still very new to this. Okay, so it's hard to tell because it's white on white. But we'll be able to show you more whenever we get it painted. But we've got a good texture down. I'm really happy with the way it looks. We gave it a good knockdown. I haven't ran a trial over anything, kind of knocked off any high spots or anything like that. I don't need to really. But the biggest takeaway from this is, one, get a good hopper. Two, I sprayed this and the rest of everything else I've done with a 6-gallon air compressor. Now I've got a bigger one at the house. I've got an 80-gallon, which I can spray all day with, but you don't need that. Almost any air compressor will do if you use bucket mud, because it gives you all the time in the world to work. If you're going fast and if you got someone to help you knock it down, then use 90-minute or 45-minute mud. Probably not 45-minute, because that'll kick really fast, because it just will. You'll see. But 90-minute muds is if you got a big enough air compressor to spray the whole room, and then you can come back and knock down, you know, in the reverse order. That'll work really well. I use a little 6-gallon Porter cable, you know, and I could do basically a wall at a time. Let it kick, you know, let it go ahead and build back up and keep doing it. But you don't need a lot of tools. This is easy. And it's going to be a brand new room. Remember, you know, if you watched any of the other videos, this room was dark brown. God-awful color choices for the whole house. But, you know, it's going to be a brand new room. I'm getting ready. We're going to go run some more trim. I've got video part 1 and 2 on how to make the Craftsman style trim that we're using. And we're using that trim to wrap everything. We wrap the windows with it, the doors with it. And then I do Craftsman style headers, and then I do, really big pine, select pine window seals. And they look really good. They're easy to do. It's not a lot of money. And it really, really does make a big difference. It makes everything look really good. The great thing about the trim that we're running is it's easy to return. It's easy to work with. It's very forgiving. And you only need, I built a sled, and on that video, you'll see the sled that I use. It's very easy. But yeah, so we're well on our way. We should be able to have this room finished by this weekend. I got to do a video on how to do a new pre-hung door. I got to get a new door for this. And I'll do another video here soon on changing outlets out, because all these outlets are 2-prong and they're no bueno. So we're gonna get them changed. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, and the biggest thing is like, you gotta mess with stuff, to recap on the mixing though. So a thinner material and a higher pressure is gonna give you a finer product. A thicker material and a lower pressure is gonna give you a heavier knockdown. And then there's everything in between. So you're gonna have to figure out what works for you. I had to change my mixture twice on this because I'm used to working with my larger air compressor that I can spray anything with, because I've got all the air in the world. This I had to dial it down a little bit. I had to thin the mixture out quite a bit, and I had to up the pressure quite a bit to get everything moving. But it worked out well, and I was able to get it going. Repairs are easy. I messed up right there, and I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me show you. So, right here, I had to scrape all of that down and start over, but it was easy. I scraped it when it was still wet. I noticed that a problem. Scraped it when it was wet. I let it dry. I sanded down my sides where I had little raised marks from scraping it. And then I just came back through, shot it once or twice. It looks just like the rest of the room. It's easy. This stuff is so forgiving. Don't be intimidated by any of this work, because it's all sandable. It's all easy. It's 3 tools required. You need a hopper, an air compressor, and a knife to knock it down with. You need some water, some mud. It's so cheap to do this, and it makes it a brand new room. That room over there that I showed, it's unrecognizable from where we started. I don't have anything into it. I've got very little money into it, a couple $100. I mean, by the time I get the fan in the floor, it'll be $500. But that's for a brand new room that is done in a high-level trim, Craftsman style, beautiful trim. But we made everything, and it's super cheap. If you've got the time and you invest in a little bit of tools, you can get good at this stuff just by doing it. And it's very forgiving. And one thing is, I noticed people tend to get nervous about how it's going to look. All of that is fixable. You just got to do it. Start in your closets. When I was working out my mixture, I started in the upper part of my closets, because it's going to be hidden. No one can see it. I tuned my mixture a little bit, and I finally got what I wanted. And then I carried that through the whole time. And it wasn't bad. But listen, I got a bunch of videos. I posted another video on how I got to this point and how I ended up basically ruining my business that I had. I lost right at like $4 or $5 million on that, and started back over. And you're kind of watching the start back over. And I really enjoy what I'm doing. I took a lot of lessons from that, and I'm going to try to incorporate that. So it's kind of got to be like a channel of like a how-to, and it's going to be lessons that I've learned along the way. And if you don't need them, whatever, I don't care. If you already know how to do this, then whatever, I don't care either. But all right, thank y'all for watching, and watch some other videos. Subscribe, it does help. Lord, does it help. Thank y'all. Bye. Okie dokie. So it's pretty late, but we got the room painted. Got some of the trim ran, probably finish that, running that up tomorrow. But what I really wanted to show y'all, kind of how that texture looks once it's painted. I don't know if it picks it up, but it actually does look really nice whenever it's on there and it's all done. Just a light knockdown, looks really good on the walls, hides all the blemishes, hides almost everything, and you know, it doesn't catch so many of the cobwebs and everything else. But able to get our ceiling done. Show a little bit of its knockdown. But alrighty, thank you all. I don't know how much anybody learned, but I enjoyed doing the video. If y'all got any suggestions or anything, just let me know. Thank you. Bye.